Hey guys, it's Carly. Welcome back to High Country Homesteading. It is a breezy, gorgeous day at the end of June here in Zone 6B, and I'm going to be giving a June update of the garden tour. I've actually been away from my garden more this month than I've been here tending to it, so it's been an interesting month to be able to leave the garden and come back and see what it looks like and things that took place while I was gone. We were actually gone for about 2 weeks to Alaska for a family vacation, which was amazing. And then we've also been at a family reunion for about 4 or 5 days. And we got home yesterday. So it is fun and exciting to see what's been transpiring in the garden while I've been away. But we've had a lot of stuff go on. A lot of things that are done, a lot of things that are just getting started. So I'm going to take you around the garden and show you all the things that have been happening in June. So let's go. So the first thing you'll probably notice is that the grass is crazy overgrown in here. And honestly, I don't know if I'm ever going to fix that. We had meant to put wood chips down, but we just never found a company that would come deliver them our way. And we just really don't have a way right now to pick them up from somewhere. Chip drop, unfortunately, doesn't come out to my area since we're so rural. So for right now, we are dealing with all the grass and I'm kind of just kicking it over, but it is what it is. It makes it look a little more lush in here. So you know what, I'll take it for now, and next year we will do something about that, maybe. So I'll start again with the green stock. We have still a lot of lettuce and kale action going on. I have some that I cut down recently because they were pretty bug infested. But the romaine's still looking good. The butter crunch has definitely been a big bug attractor, more so than the romaine. And the kale has looked like it's gotten free of bugs pretty well. I will say down here, I think these beets might be ready to harvest. I love the purple leaves, but if I can get you, I don't know if you can see down in there, but it looks like they might be ready to harvest. So I'll have to see about that. I'm gonna let these carrots go as long as I can. Here's a carrot right here, deep down in there. But this spinach, I think, has started to bolt. Here you can see right here. There's some little buds happening on this one. So I think the spinach is starting to go, and it might be a little bit bitter, but we might be able to use some more of this before it really starts not tasting good. But I've been very, very pleased with the green stock. I'm very happy with doing greens on it. I think I will continue to do that throughout the winter and the fall. But yeah, I'm happy with how the beets and the carrots are turning out. So I think I will definitely continue this way with the green stock in the future. So this is the urban strawberry green stock. Herbs are still going strong. This lemon basil looks like it might be bolting and not doing so hot, but thyme, rosemary, everything looks like it's doing okay. I had a dill die in here and then I replanted it, and that's as far as it got. So that didn't do great. But this parsley is looking good. The sage, the mint, this dill is starting to go really crazy, and I have a flower about to form here, so we need to be chopping that back. But down here where the strawberries are, I don't have any strawberry action, though I am seeing growth on the leaves. Nowhere where I planted a bare root is doing anything. So I don't know if that's just something that will come up next year and I just need to be patient and keep my eye on it. Not exactly sure. But I will say that everywhere I planted from seed is starting to get a lot bigger. Though no strawberries, and I think, if I can find it, I think I only have one flower somewhere here. Oh, here it is. Finally one flower. So I might be getting one strawberry sometime in July, but nothing else yet. I've got one little bud forming there, so I don't know. It's going pretty slow. No bare root strawberries down here. So I'm not entirely sure. It would have been nice to have strawberries this year, but it might be a next year thing. So I guess we'll see. So here is the melon and the pumpkin patch. At the end here, all of this thick foliage are poppies. So that seems to be growing in really nicely. It's growing in quite thick too. But I'm sad to say I don't think any melons are happening. I have not done any weeding. This is supposed to be a cantaloupe. It's looking really dry and sad. I will say while I was away, towards the middle of June, we had a ton of rain, like nonstop rain. We got home from Alaska in the middle of June, and it rained for a week straight nonstop, which was probably the most rain that I've even ever seen here in this region. So this did get a lot of rain while I was gone and when I came back, but it's not happening. I think this was supposed to be a honeydew. That's not happening. So I don't even know if weeding this area is worth it, except for the squash. This is supposed to be a watermelon. I don't think that's going to be a watermelon anytime soon. So yeah, melons didn't work here. I'm wondering if next year I need to make room for them on the trellis, or if I should put a trellis in this area. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I did see over here, since I have so much wild growth, I have some really beautiful wildflowers growing. I didn't even plant this, but these are really pretty with these purple dots. And I also have some bachelor buttons growing over here. I grew these last year actually in one of my beds, so I don't know if that's how they got over here, but I grew this blue boy variety. But this pink one is one that I did not grow. So I'm enjoying the wildflower section that I've got going on here. Some red flowers. But over here, I don't think I've shown this before, but the entire length of this fence, I put about a foot of compost down to make a little flower bed out of it, and I sprinkled wildflowers all throughout. So I'm getting a lot of these light pink and white flowers right now, but I can see there's a lot of cosmos that are going to come up in there. So I'm so excited to see that this whole row just get filled with color. So on to the squashes. At least the squashes and the pumpkins look like they're doing all right. This is spaghetti squash. So I have section here, here, here. So 3 areas that look like it's doing all right. I have some more squash here that's a little bit smaller. They're butternut squashes and acorn squashes. So hopefully that has time to develop and get some fruit on it. Pumpkins seem to be doing okay. These are jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. So I'm excited about that. And I also have the little baby pumpkins in here. And then down here, a little bit smaller, not doing so great, are the Valenciano pumpkins. Those are the all white ones. So I hope that those keep getting better, but it looks like these are doing really well, and I should probably start weeding throughout here so that there's not as much weed pressure affecting them. Down on this end is the sunflower patch. These are the cutting golds, and these over here are the autumn beauty. The larger ones in the front are the mammoth. I was hoping that these would be a lot bigger by now. I don't know if they're too densely planted, or I don't know, they don't like this spot, but I can't see these getting very mammoth if they're still only a foot off the ground. But I guess we'll just wait and find out, and I should probably weed over here too. This teeny tiny carrot patch that I have at the end of this bed is still going strong. So I don't know how sweet or how large these carrots are gonna get, but I'm just gonna let that go as long as I can and see how well they do. So the one thing I came back to after Alaska was all my broccoli just bolted and flowered like crazy. I will say they are beautiful, and the bees are now enjoying these beautiful yellow flowers. But I will say I'm not sad about it. I knew it would happen because I know broccoli is a cold weather crop. And I really just wanted to see if it would even grow here, and it did really well in this spot. I was happy with the growth that was happening. I still have some of this hasn't quite flowered yet, but I'm not going to harvest it. I'm just going to leave it. There's some over there, but the flowers are beautiful, and look, the bees are enjoying it as well. But I am really happy how the broccoli was growing here. Seemed to be happy and doing well. So I think coming up here soon, I think by the end of July or August, I'm going to plant broccoli in the same exact spot and see how it goes. So we will try again at the right timing now that we have the infrastructure in. But for now, the bees are enjoying the pretty yellow flowers. So in front of the broccoli bed, we have the other squash that I planted way later. So here we actually have a few sunflowers. And then over here we have a few butternut squash plants. I planted 5, but only 3. Well, yes. No, I only planted 3. I planted 3 and all of them have come up. And they look to be honestly the same size or actually bigger than the ones I planted over here. So they're liking this spot more, and this is spaghetti squash. So I have a couple plants of spaghetti squash and butternut squash. And then over here I have my crop of gladiolas. These are all coming along nicely. No flowers or color on them yet, but I'm really excited to see all of these grow in. It'll be really beautiful, and I'm definitely craving a vase of flowers in my kitchen right now. Moving over here to the other flower spot, I still have my gladiolas that are coming in that I planted last year. And then I have my dahlias, still pretty small, not doing as well as ones that I've planted over there that we'll get to. But actually, I'm sorry, these are peonies. Peonies are still pretty small, so that might be a next year thing. But these lilies are growing nicely. They're getting pretty tall. And we have some dahlias coming in over here. So those seem to be doing well. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a sunflower, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that seeded itself there. So I'm excited to see about that. I've got a bud happening here. I've got a bud happening over here. So lots of activity going on in the perennial flower spot. Speaking of dahlias, this is my strawberry fields dahlia section, and we have 2 buds showing up here, which I am so thrilled about. I can't wait to see what beautiful shade of like pinkish red pastel this is going to be. I'm very excited. I love how all of these are completely different colors. This one's a lot darker, and I have some buds showing up there. And this came all in the same package. So I'm excited to see the different colors that happen here. Here I just have some store-bought flowers that I'm filling in. This is where I planted those eggplant seeds because my eggplant starts didn't happen. And this is as far as they've gotten. It's been over a month now, and I only see the one. I don't think I see two over here, right there and right there, that are just minuscule. So I don't think eggplant is going to happen over here. Unfortunately, I'm sad about that. I really wanted to have some, but that's what we've got this year, and we'll have to try that again. I do have in this Cosmos section, I've got buds on a lot of mine, so I'm excited to see those come up. This pink lemonade dahlia is bursting with flower buds. I'm so excited to see that come into full bloom. It's going to be gorgeous. Here I have some zinnias that are still pretty small. These are a little taller and still no flowers yet on that nasturtium. But over here is the cucumber section. These are, I believe, the national pickling cucumber. I do have one borage that looks like maybe it's going to sprout a flower soon. Only one of those came up, but I have a ton of flowers on my cucumbers, although these plants just seem like they're way too small to support any kind of fruit. There's so many flowers, but I don't know if any of them are actually going to amount to anything. They're starting to sprawl a bit. I need to start wrapping them around this trellis. But there's a ton of flowers in there, but I don't know how cucumbers are going to work out. They seem like they're too small to produce any fruit, but we'll have to see what's happening. On this side of the trellis, same thing. I mean, these are the Ashley cucumber, and they have flowers, but they're just really puny plants. I mean, these over here didn't quite work out at all. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't think it was a good try for cucumbers, and we'll have to do that again next year. Coming over to this bed, like I said, this was the eggplant. That's not going to work out at all. I finally have one of these gorgeous, vibrant nasturtiums. I think this was called Spitfire. This is such a bright orange. Here we go. It's so pretty. I'm loving that. And this was the peach melba back here. It's like a really light peach color. Still only one of those, but I do have a few buds coming in right there. These are the Brussels sprouts. I think it's too hot for any of this to happen this year, but they did grow. So I am hopeful about that for the fall and winter. So we'll definitely be trying Brussels sprouts again. These nasturtiums they're bigger than the ones over here for some reason, yet these are now having flowers and these aren't. So I don't know what it is with me and nasturtiums, but I don't know. I tried them multiple different times throughout the spring and they weren't happening. These cabbage seem to be growing. They haven't been quite decimated by any bugs yet, or they haven't been overdone by the heat of the summer. So I don't know. Maybe we might get a tiny cabbage. We'll have to see about that. But they are still growing and they haven't been eaten yet. So I would call that a win so far. If I turn around here, here's where I have my artichokes. I don't know if these are quite doing anything. They definitely have a little bit of growth on some of them, but I don't see them forming anything that looks like they're going to have fruit yet. So I have these pretty marigolds planted throughout them, and it seems to be helping with the bugs. This is probably my most thriving artichoke plant, and I know it's supposed to get pretty big. So we'll just keep an eye on these, but they're not super impressive so far. Over here I have a big borage patch, and I again see some stuff happening in the middle there, so I'm hoping to get some blue flowers soon. But next to those are the zucchini. Zucchini, I finally feel like is doing something. I can see some buds starting to form that look like I'm going to get some fruit. Like I bet right there is going to be a zucchini. Let's see what else. I definitely see some buds forming in the middle of these. So no flowers yet, but they're looking pretty promising. Over here, I have jade beans. So we definitely have some flowers starting to form on these. Doing pretty well. I think some of my other beans are performing a little better right now, but these still seem to be like they're doing okay. Backing up to my onion patch, I'm sure it's because I planted these way too late, but these are just totally stunted and don't seem like they're growing very much. They're still like not even as thick as a pencil, so I don't know if any onions are going to happen. Still, what looks best are the ruby red, but I'm really not hopeful I'm gonna get any onions this year, but that's okay, at least we tried. But now that, of course, we have the infrastructure, we can try again at the correct time next year. But this row along here are snapdragons. They look to be getting some growth on them finally. I have a patch right here as well. So I'm hopeful to have some snapdragons eventually. This is my zinnia spot, and I do have some buds coming along and a little bit of flowering going on. So happy to get some more zinnias. This is still all we have going on here, but that is a really beautiful color. So I'm excited to see that and excited to see more come in. This is my celery patch right down here. I don't know about this. I feel like this should be a lot bigger as well, but we might get some celery. This is definitely my biggest one so far. So we'll have to see about that. But what I'm really thrilled about is right here next to it, and these cosmos are coming in. This is my first blush cosmo, and this was beautiful. I just absolutely love how this looks. So we've got some white ones going on, and the blush are starting to finally come in. I've got more buds, so I am so excited to cut these and put them inside. I love how those turned out. Next to the cosmos, we have some more zinnias that I threw in from seed. This is our cilantro back here. I feel like my cilantro last year did a lot better than what this is looking like. So I'm not sure why that is, but we're only getting a little bit, whereas I thought cilantro was pretty prolific. Next to this are the tomatillo plants that were pretty teeny tiny when I planted them, and they still don't really look like they've grown. They do have flowers. They've been consistently getting flowers, but there's no way that these are big enough to hold any kind of fruit. But what is really big next to them are these bush beans. They have definitely gotten pretty bushy, and I'm excited to see all these blooms on them. These pretty white blooms. They're kind of like a pale white yellow color. I'm loving all of the blooms. I'll show you some really nice lavender colored ones later, but on these beans, I didn't know that they flowered like this. I had never grown beans before, but I'm loving how that's looking. So these look to be growing very nicely. Very happy with that. So next we have the pepper patch, and I'm still gonna say I think my peppers were my greatest success this year. They still look to be doing very well. So I'll show you what I have going on here. Down here are the bell peppers. So I have some yellow and some red, and they all are forming and doing well. I can't believe how they're pretty small plants, and these peppers are so large. So I've got some red here, some more red here. I don't know how they're holding such large fruit when they're only such small plants. But we have that going on. Let's see, what else do we have? We have some poblanos going on. I've got a poblano pepper here. These are the serranos, and they don't have fruit yet. So we'll see about that. But definitely getting lots of banana peppers. All of my plants, I think, have at least one banana pepper on them. So I'm pretty happy with that. We got banana peppers going on. I hope those keep growing so that I can learn how to pickle them, because I would really like to jar those up and not have to buy them at the store anymore. So hopefully those keep growing well. Here's where I have some more beans that have these gorgeous lavender flowers on them. I love that. That's really beautiful. So I'm very happy. These are the jade bean variety. Oh, actually, these are contender beans that have the purple flowers. So these seem to be doing nicely as well. Another patch that I'm very happy with so far as well is this potato patch. It seems to be doing really well. It seems to be true that potatoes seem like they're the easiest thing to grow, because I did not hardly do anything with this, and it seems to be growing well, putting on a lot of leaves. So I'm very hopeful for those. These are gold potatoes, and they're just organic potatoes that I bought at the grocery store, and I let them form some chits, and then I planted them in the ground and watered them. And that's all I've done, and it seems to be going well. But I'll walk over here to the corn, which is something that I'm struggling with. I think I know why. I had planned to put some blood meal and some nitrogen to fertilize the corn when it got to about 6 inches tall. And I kept waiting for it to become 6 inches, and then it just started failing and getting stunted and turning brown and not getting to 6 inches. So I think I waited too long on this, and I think these are in some desperate need for some nitrogen. I'm going to do that today to hopefully try to salvage these corn, but I definitely thought the corn would be a lot bigger by now. These sunflowers are coming in. Some of them are struggling. Some of them look to be okay. I've got the taller one over here. But yeah, I think I was way too late on fertilizing the corn. I'm sad about that because it had popped up so nicely. But I'm going to try to salvage the corn and see if we can get anything out of it this year, or at least get it to grow a little taller. And last but not least, we have the tomato patch. I love looking at this patch because it has all the pretty pink and purple and yellow and orange flowers. So it's just something really nice to look at. But on the end here, we have basil. Basil seems to finally be coming in pretty nicely. I'll be able to make some pesto off of that soon. But I'm very happy with how the tomatoes are growing. I've been trying to put them on the trellis and prune them to make sure nothing's touching the ground. No fruit yet on anything, but I am just finally starting to have some little buds. So I've got a couple of them coming, so I'm very hopeful for something soon. We just got back from our family reunion trip, so some pruning needs to happen, but I'm very happy with the growth on these compared to when I planted them. So tomatoes seem to be happy so far. Not seeing any issues, although I don't have any fruit yet, so I don't know if there's any blight or any kind of problems like that, but we've got some buds happening, so I think we might finally have some tomatoes soon. And then here are the rest of our beans, looking happy with those purple flowers. I absolutely love how those look. I think that's beautiful, and those seem to be coming in pretty well. One thing that's really interesting that I wanted to show over here is this is an absolute mess of stuff at the end of the perennial garden bed, but I have this pot, believe it or not, it's buried under here with just like a minuscule amount of dirt in it. But at the end of last year over here, I had planted daisies and lavender, and they never came up for me over here. So I took out like the one leaf that I could find that I thought maybe was a daisy, and I threw it in this pot, and lo and behold, this year they've grown out of like the tiny amount that I had, and I randomly have these daisies, and I have more coming in. So these are so pretty. I wish I had some daisies last year, but I'll take it this year. But it's just funny that they're growing in this like empty pot. But now I finally have a couple daisies, and I'm very, very pleased about that. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. This is what everything's looking like in the month of June, at the end of June and going into July. So we have a lot to look forward to. Lots of things are coming in. I feel like my growth is a little stunted compared to other similar areas that I watch and know of on YouTube, but this is my first year and I know that I need to be patient and it's hard, but we're trying. So yeah, this is what the garden's looking like at the end of June, and I thank you so much for watching. I would love if you would please consider subscribing, and it would help my channel out a lot, and I love sharing these things and finding others who have similar things going on or advice to give, since I'm such a new gardener. So I would love for you to consider subscribing and appreciate that so much. And I will continue sharing updates of the garden as we go through the season and into the fall. So I will see you on the next one, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.